So, first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua B'Shem Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and Ruel. Shalom to the faithful men as always continue doing the work of the Lord. Alright, now, Lil Willin, I just want to make a very quick video just speaking about resisting temptations, things like that. Really our whole life. That's the life of a prophet, as the brothers say. You know what I'm saying? That's just our life, man. It's gonna be a lot of resisting temptation day to day. A lot of these niggas that don't know nothing, you know what I'm saying? They might know right from wrong, at least a little bit, at least the basics. But a lot of things that they do, they don't know they going off. You know what I mean? So they don't really gotta resist temptation like we do. But us, we understand, we know what's pleasing to the Lord and we know what's not pleasing to the Lord. Matter of fact, let me get that before I get into all this. I believe it's Baruch. Let me see, Salakia. 4 and 4 it says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. Alright? So things that are pleasing to the Most High, we know how to serve the Lord, in sincerity and truth. But we also know what the Lord don't like as well. You know what I'm saying? We know what he really is displeased with. And we got many, many, many different examples in the scriptures of niggas going off, or even righteous men going off, repenting obviously, but we know what's right and wrong in the eyes of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We know what if we do certain things we'll get fucked up, but we know that if we do certain things that we're going to get rewarded too as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing that we have, and not many people have that. So we got, first and foremost, you gotta be grateful, because these people out here are lost. A lot of people think that cussing and bullshit like that is going off. But really, the other activities that they do is going off. This is Psalm 16. And let me see. 7, I will bless Yahweh, who have given me counsel. My friends also instruct me in the night seasons. Right, so you bless the Lord because he gives us counsel. You give counsel. When you get counsel, what do you get counsel for? So if you know what you're doing, you want the best answer to do what you're supposed to be doing. To you know what I mean? Should I do this or should I not do this? We get the counsel through the scriptures. Alright, and it says, let me see, I'm trying to find, I thought it was 16. Oh, okay, my fault. I don't know why I thought it was 16. But Psalms 139 and 15. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in wait, hold on. My fault, 14. I praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Right? So our soul knoweth right well. We know the breakdown, we know the instruction, what the scripture says. The scriptures is written for instruction, for correction, for doctrine, and we know the evil doctrine. We know what to look out for. What the scripture says, watch yourself from the evil woman. That's double fold. Mainly it's talking about these or what it say, strange women. Mainly it's, that Proverbs, it says mainly that's speaking about these different doctrines, but also women too. But it's truly a blessing, man. I love it, man. We know what to eat, what kind of diet we should have, and You know what I mean? We know it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It really is. All right, but knowing that, right, and knowing right and wrong, you gotta apply it. So how do you apply it? By, the fear of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So brothers have that fear of the Lord on them. You know what I'm saying? Then what they gonna do? They going to resist temptations. All right. You're gonna stay clear the fuck away from it. And also believing too that the Lord sees and knows that we'll be doing it, and in return, He's gonna give us the kingdom for that. But this is Sirach 21:2 says, flee from sin as from the face of a serpent, for it cometh for if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. Right, so you feel me? So it says, flee from the face of a serpent. Flee from sin as the face of a serpent. You should be scared to commit sin. What the scripture says, don't be afraid to add sin upon sin, and know that you're going to be punished. That's why, we can't do it perfectly, but that's why the scripture says what? To offend less. We try our best not to piss the Lord off, even though we're going to do something stupid. But we try our best to offend less as possible. Like, rehearse the righteous acts. All right. Like, what's that nigga, Unc, off the diamond gym. What did he say? He said, all I want is effort. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Lord wants from us. Hey, brothers might struggle with certain things, but hey, as long as you put an effort in, and each day you get better and better. You strive for perfection. You strive, to be cleaner and cleaner each day. You know what I'm saying? But it says, all iniquities as the two-edged sword, the wounds whereof cannot be healed. Alright? I can stop there. But now I get to the original scripture I wanted to get. Alright. This is Sirach 19. Matter of fact, I can start at 1, because this goes into temptation too. Because you gotta catch yourself, man. Like, sometimes you can be insatiable and be unsatisfied with something. You just being greedy. You just keep getting. And sometimes you gotta slow down, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Because you could be doing something that's not technically off, but you could be doing it, out of balance, out of season. There's a time and season for everything. So you gotta constantly examine yourself and be like, all right, am I doing too much? Am I spending too much time on my hobbies and activities that I do than rather than studying? I spend too much time worrying about these situations. And what the scripture says, seek not a wife. If you already have one, just seek not a wife. But if you burn, of course, go look for something. But don't overdo it. Because that shit can make your mind just too focused on that shit. You know what I mean? You gotta be patient with whatever the fuck you do. You know what I mean? And you gotta be patient. You gotta be focused on the scriptures. Alright? Not letting anything get in the way and distract you. Alright? But it says, Sirach 19:1, the main point is at 5. It says, a laboring man a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich. He that contendeth with smallest things shall fall little by little. Right? That can be a temptation. You always in your drunkenness, you always in your folly. Or whatever, because everybody, we all drinking all that shit, man. But you gotta be moderate. Right? Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away. And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent. Right? Wine and women drink and women will make men of understanding to fall away. It's a huge distraction, and both requires a lot of your attention, and both is highly pleasurable. You know what I'm saying? But both is highly dangerous too. Alright? And you cleaving into harlots. You got harlots around you all the goddamn time. You're gonna be impudent. You're not gonna be on point. That's why a lot of these damn rappers and shit, they get set up, by women, whether purposely or non-purposely. They share their fucking location, and they get the ops come show up and shoot them and shit. The nigga ain't on point. But you got bad bitches all around you, and you high as hell. You high as a fucking kite. That's foolish, man. You're not on point. You're not in the spirit. You just thinking about pleasures. And that's something that we gotta, speaking to myself first and foremost. You can't be all indulging in pleasures all the damn time, man. You gotta sometimes get a break, even if it's not going off. Drinking ain't going off. Having a woman or whatever hobby brothers do, majority of the time ain't going off. But it's just you overindulging in it, and it's like, alright, But it says, that's why the scripture says, use the word, not abuse it. It says, moth and worms shall have him to heritage, and a bold man shall be taken away. Right? And that's another reason why we shouldn't be indulging in this shit, because it's moth and worms. All of it's going to be destroyed. All of it's going to decay. He that's hasty to give credit is light-minded. He that sinneth shall offend against his own soul. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned. But he that resisteth pleasures crowneth his life. And look at the dynamic of this world. You got the majority of these people on this earth taking pleasures in wickedness, bullshit, pleasure, and just bullshitting all fucking day. Going off all fucking day. Don't give a fuck about serving the Lord or nothing. All they care about is their own self. You know what I'm saying? But you got the brothers, very few sisters. We already got few brothers. You got even more fewer sisters. You know what I'm saying? That actually do resist temptation. It's the Sabbath. You can be doing any and any fucking thing. You sitting your ass down at home. You know what I mean? Adultery. A woman fine as hell. You probably ain't had no pussy in a minute. And she on your shit. But you like, nah, hell nah. So on and so forth. Alright, you could be doing any fucking thing right now, but what you doing? You studying. Alright, that's resisting temptation, and we do that, and you gotta notice, bro, we do that shit every single day. So one, you can't be weary of well doing, as the scripture says, and constantly endure and constantly, be ready to always constantly be tempted. Prepare yourself for temptation, And also we gotta know that all this is gonna be rewarded. You resisting pleasures, you're gonna crown your life. The Lord sees and takes notes of everything. And we do, like I said, we do this every single day. Since you was in this truth. And you don't remember every single situation. And the Lord might show you, Lord willing, I want to see everything. I want to see all my past, all that. And I want to see every single time I resisted temptation, all that. You know what I'm saying? But you just racking up treasures in heaven. Alright? What's that, Sirach? 35. And 1, he that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough. He that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering. And taking heed to the commandment ain't always easy. Sometimes you gotta resist temptations. Alright, because your flesh and your spirit always gonna war against each other. Alright, he that requireth a good turn offereth fine flour. And he that giveth alms sacrifices praises. To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing unto the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is propitiation. Alright, so if you just turn away from wickedness, that's pleasing. That's very pleasing to the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Not only you gonna just think about it, bro. You gonna get rewarded, But not only that, you gonna get protected too. You gonna get protection when all hell breaks loose. And before when all hell breaks loose. Right now. You know, our day-to-day, walking up and down, to and fro, in and out, going in and out. You know, we might be broke as fuck and still under the curses, but you still getting protected. You know? Alright? Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord, right? You know? We ain't gonna be empty before the Lord. You know? Keep going. For all these things are to be done because of the commandment, the offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and the sweet savor thereof is before the Most High. Their sacrifice of adjustment is acceptable, and the memorial thereof should never be forgotten. Right. So all these things that we've been doing, all this resistant temptation, all these times where we could have but we didn't, you know what I'm saying? All this is gonna be remembered forever. You know what I'm saying? In a world where it's just nothing, especially in America, where a world is just nothing but just fucking, you gotta fucking think about this. Really think about this, man. You got all kinds of fucking nations. Every single nation you can think of under the sun that comes to this place. You know, mainly for money, obviously, but that can be as pleasure too. But mainly for money, but also for pleasure. Now, especially they women, they come over here, they can be all kinds of hoes. You know what I'm saying? They can just do whatever the fuck they want to do, especially if they the only one of their family in that city. Oh man, nobody can't stop them. They doing whatever the fuck they, as long as they keep sending that money back to home. They parents is using the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? They just every week sending money back home, like they did, like they're fucking a piggy bank or something. Which I get it, but it's like, guys, sometimes they be overdoing this shit, you know. But all kinds of nations come over here just for pleasure. All right, because this what Scripture says, these people have lived deliciously. But what are we doing? We spending what the Scripture says in Hebrews. Spend the time that you have here, you know, in your sojourning, because we are sojourners. This is not a home. Alright, Israel is. He said, spend the time of your sojourning here in the fear of the Lord. Alright, that's what we doing. We spending. Of course, we gonna have fun here and there. We ain't no fucking robots. We got personality. Yahweh Shai had personality. I might make a video on that soon. Yahweh Shai had personality. It was the scriptures when he was laughing and joking with the kids, or you know, or he was laughing, you know, with the kids. You know, he had joy. You know, he was, you know, he joked with the disciples. He, you know, he had fun too. He drunk a little bit. You know, of course, to take off the stress that he had. You know, he had friends like Lazarus and Mary and Martha. He had friends. You know, shit. He was a fucking, you know, excuse me, but he was you know, he was in the flesh too, man. You know, we ain't just, you know, they just make the Lord just with no personality. He just, you know, hey, I love you. That's it. That's the only personality he got, is just love. Like, he had personality too. He got mad, he got angry, he got sad, he got happy, all that. Alright? And so do we. We're not fucking robots. We're not just gonna just do the work all day long. We got, you know, we gonna I was about to say we got a life. Now, our life is just truth. But I mean, shit, you still gotta have downtime. You gotta have times where you gotta relax. You know? Can't do it all. What the scripture says, don't eat too much honey. You're gonna vomit it up. You know? Anyways. Probably look at like two more scriptures. James 1:12, it says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him. Alright? So we just gotta keep enduring. Alright? And keep resisting temptation. All this is gonna pay off real soon. And all this shit is bullshit anyway, man. Who gives a fuck about it? Alright? Psalms 128:1, blessed is everyone that feareth Yahweh, that walketh in his ways. For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands, happy shall thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house, thy children like olive plants round about thy table. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth Yahweh. Yahweh shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children's children, and peace upon Jerusalem. You know, and a man don't want nothing more, man. You know, and hey, so blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, resist temptations, and just be a servant to the Lord. Like I always say, man, I ain't say this in a minute. You know, we always gotta be in that Yahweh Shai spirit. No, not my will, but thy will be done. You know, you gonna want certain things, and brothers could have been certain things in their life. Brothers sacrificed their fucking youth, man. Alright? Sacrificed damn near their whole fucking youth. And you know, could have did any fucking thing. Some brothers had talent, was in the NFL, brothers was in the military, brothers was musicians and all these different things, man. Brothers chefs and rejecting millions of dollars, man. Alright? Some brothers in this truth has touched millions of dollars, man. Some brothers touched a couple $100,000. You know, brothers in the streets and shit, being little demons and shit, man, making good money. Alright? But hey, man, we decide, you know, well, the Lord chose us, Lord willing. We brought that number and made us serve Him. And that's the main thing, man. You gotta have the heart, like King David. He had the heart. He was a man after the Most High's heart. That's how we gotta be, man. Fuck your desires. I mean, of course, the Lord gonna bless you here and there, and you're gonna be able to do certain things, and you know, whatever. You know, of course, you know. But you know, like the scripture says too. You know, the Lord said, if you listen, like Joshua, He said, all things you do is gonna prosper. Yeah, the Lord gonna let you. The Lord's still gonna let you prosper in certain things. You know, but the main thing is we gonna set aside our desires and our whatever, our time, everything, our family, everything that belongs to us, and we gonna serve the Lord, and we gonna make sure that He's good first. Like, I serve the Lord, you know, now I can rest, now I can chill or do whatever the fuck I want to do for the rest of the night. You know what I'm saying? You know, and hey, Lord willing, real soon the Lord gonna reward us for this. Soon and very soon. So yeah, man. So Lord willing, hopefully that was edifying. We give our praise and glory to Yahweh. Bashimi Al-Shah, Bashim Hakodash, the bounce to the apostle, GMS Rubel. Shalom to the faithful men, continue doing the work of the Lord. Shalom, Shalom.